All right, so this is Genesis chapter 6. Now, I got to say that there's a lot being done with Genesis chapter 6 that it just doesn't support, and we're going to go over that, and hopefully you'll see what it actually says about angels and things like that. Now, just to remind you, at this point, we don't know a whole lot about angels. Just if this is all we know, if all we've read is 6 chapters of Genesis, all we know is that there was a cherub, placed in the garden to protect it. So, but we don't know much about our angels at this point. So, I think there is a reference here to activity of fallen angels, but I think that there's a lot of people that twist this to mean something that it doesn't mean. When man began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them. So this is when people are getting, there's lots of people now, right? The sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive. These are people, these are men that are, hey man, these women are beautiful. And they took as their wives any they chose. This is polygamy. And this is them going out to get wives for themselves. You wait on a wife. God will give you a wife. If you go out there and try to manipulate the creation and get stuff for yourself, I can guarantee you're going to end up doing stupid things. And they took as their wives any they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. Now, this can't be a limitation on human life, because we know people that lived longer than this after he said that. This has to be, hey, there's going to be 120 years, and I'm getting rid of everybody. All right, so this is at the very end of the pre-flood period, right? Now, here's where people, I think, go out in left field. The Nephilim, it just means tyrant, bully, giant, right? People that were big people. And they were, it doesn't have to, let's just read the context. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God came into the daughters of man and bore children to them. So these Nephilim existed before that happened and after. So they can't be the product of these relationships because they were there before. So the people that say that the Nephilim are, these half-breed babies, it doesn't make any sense. It's not what this says. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. So it's talking about the children that it says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. So the Nephilim are not the children. The Nephilim were there before, and the children are being called mighty men, men of renown, right? The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. Now, people say, well, how is this possible? God knew this was going to happen. He's expressing himself in human terms. He wants us to know that he hates violence. He doesn't want populations that are doing what these people are. He's showing you in human terms. God is an infinite God, right? He's not a human being at this point. He's an eternal spirit. And he's trying to express himself and communicate with humans so that they can understand. This is what he does with Abraham. He says this. So it grieved him to his heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out man, whom I have created from the face of the land, man and animals and creeping things, and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Why? Because Noah had faith. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God, just like Enoch did, and God took him. And Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. This is not just physical violence. This is people are stealing, and there's the whole show is just anti-God, right? Just corrupt to the core. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it with and without with pitch. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark, 300 cubits, its breadth, 50 cubits, and its height, 30 cubits. Make a roof for the ark, and finish it to a cubit above, and set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall die, but I will establish my covenant with you. And you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. So God just doesn't save Noah. He saves everything he needs to start a population, but he saves Noah's entire family, everything that's dear to him, right? It's beautiful. And obviously part of the reason is, you got to repopulate the earth after this is over, but you want to do it starting from a place of someone with faith. If you don't have anybody with faith, if everybody's corrupted, who's going to believe? You're going to teach your children to believe when you don't believe. So God sees everything's corrupted. People have corrupted his ways. There's nobody's turning to him. There's got this one guy, Noah. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark to keep them alive with you. Now, some people say there's a contradiction here. Let me say, this is just an overarching generalization. Hey, you're going to bring 2 of all flesh. You're going to be, 2 animals, 2 by 2, they're going to come into the ark with you. They shall be male and female, of the birds according to their kinds, and of the animals according to their kinds, of every creeping thing of the ground according to its kind. 2 of every sort shall come unto you to keep them alive. Right? So 2 of every sort, because you need a male and a female. You can't just have one. They won't be able to reproduce, obviously. Also, take with you every sort of food that is eaten and stored up. It shall serve as food for you and for them. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. And you know what's interesting is I've heard people say, well, this is ridiculous. There's no way he could have fit these animals on here. And how did he get the animals to get on the ark? And how did he make all this happen? But yet they believe that the universe expanded from a highly compressed, hot, dense state into squirrels and spider monkeys. But they just have a problem with God doing it. They would have no problem if we could come up with some reason that it happened without God. It's just God is what irritates them. God doing miracles and showing his power is just offensive, apparently, to some people. So that's Genesis chapter 6. Hopefully this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know. God bless you.